Okay, so there is a golden rule that I am going to teach today. Okay, and in the next lecture, I will segregate further. There'll be a further deep analysis of this rule. So the golden rule today is that what is Vimshotri Mahadasha. Okay, and in the Vimshotri Mahadasha, in my previous lecture, somebody was asking me, Gurudev, do we take Antradasha also? In this concept, somebody had asked me this question. So, and then I said that, okay, it will be our next lecture. So, the golden rule, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Antradasha is always seen from the Varga Chakra. Remember this. So when I say Antradasha is seen from the Varga Chakra, what does that mean? It means that whenever you want to understand the Antradasha, you have to look at the placement of that planet in the divisional charts. Simple. So Antradasha will be seen from the Varga Chakra. Varga Chakra means 16 divisional charts, the primary 16 divisional charts. That is the meaning of the Varga Chakra. Okay, now a lot of people will ask me, Guruji, then what about the D1? You should not look at the Antradasha from the D1. You can look at the Antradasha from the D1 chart, but the accurate input will come from the divisional. Now, why accurate input? Because divisional chart is not signifying, or it is not pointing towards the particular areas of your life. Okay, so the particular areas of your life is signified by the divisional charts. Okay, suppose you want to understand marriage, and you see the Antradasha, right? So Antradasha for marriage, predictions or calculations, you have to go to D9. Okay, and see the location of that planet in the D9 and see what is the relationship with the Mahadasha Lord. Okay, you have to, just like you were doing with the Bhava Suchak Amsha. Okay, just like suppose my Shukra Dasha is going on. Okay, and my Shukra is in the Cancer 4 number. Okay, now the Surya Antradasha has started. So Surya Antardasha, you have to see Surya is in which sign. Suppose if Surya is in the Gemini sign, imagine for an example. So from the Cancer, the Surya Antardasha is in the Gemini. So it is 12th from the Cancer. So Antardasha may give you isolation. Antardasha may give you meditation, but it can also give you losses, right? But losses where? In the D9, it is only showing your dharma and the marriage part. But I'll have to check this in the D10 for my profession, in the D7 for my children, in the D12 for my parents. So you've got different verticals, just like you have a balance sheet with you. So the outer return is telling you, okay, this is your final income, this is what your income tax return is. But when you go inside, you can check various headers. You check this head, you check that head, then the third head, and then you find कि कहाँ पर टेंजिबल है, कहाँ पर इंटेंजिबल है, कहाँ पे बैड डेट्स हैं, ये कहाँ पे आपके सस्पिशियस डेट्स हैं, तो वो सारे के सारे आप देख सकते हो. So what I'll do today is I will first give you that all 16 divisional charts represent what. Okay, what is D3, what is D4, what is, so that you have that frame of mind of the Varga Chakra. Okay, so once you have that, and then somebody comes to you and so, sir, I have this problem. I have problem with my children. I have got problem with my guru's lineage. My guru is not happy with me. What to do? Which chart should I see? Right? I have problems with my fixed assets. I've got problems with my property. I'm not able to buy property. I'm not able to sell property. So if you're not able to sell property, not able to buy property, वो अंतरदशा कभी भी आप D1 से नहीं देख सकते. वो आपको कभी भी एक्यूरेट रिजल्ट नहीं देगी. वो आपको एक स्पेसिफिक डिविजनल चार्ट में जाके देखना है. ओके सो अगर आपको 16 के 16 डिविजनल चार्ट के बारे में सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है, ओके सो आप उसको देख सकते हो। ओके सो शैल वी डू दिस? सो व्हाट आई डू इज यू कैन नोट डाउन कि 16 डिविजनल चार्ट कौन से हैं, फिर एक दो एग्जांपल करते हैं अंतरदशा को एनालाइज करने के लिए आपके पास्ट के प्रेजेंट के, और फिर आपको ढेर सारी प्रैक्टिस कि आप अपनी मैरिज के बारे में, अपने स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी के बारे में, आप उस प्लैनेट को अंतरदशा में एनालाइज करो, तो आपको बहुत अच्छे रिजल्ट्स, एक्यूरेट रिजल्ट्स आपको समझ में आएंगे कि हाउ महादशा एंड अंतरदशा इज वर्किंग। अब अंतरदशा के बाद प्रत्यंतर दशा और सूक्ष्म दशा कहाँ देखनी है? अगर प्रत्यंतर और सूक्ष्म देखनी है तो वो D1 में देखनी है। ओके ये गोल्डन रूल जो है वो किसके लिए? अंतरादशा के लिए, क्योंकि प्रत्यंतर और सूक्ष्म दशा चंद्र बेस्ड है ना। वो चंद्र बेस्ड में क्या हो रहा है कि वहां पर आपका डेली ट्रांजिट काम आ रहा है कि चंद्रमा इसमें है, फिर इसमें है, तो इसमें है, तो वो सूक्ष्म दशाएं हम वहां से देखते हैं, राइट। लेकिन अंतरदशा जैसे अगर 60 to 70% इज दी महादशा, so 20-30% अंतरदशा is contributing, remaining are only 1 to 2%. When 2 or 3 conditions matches, only then the event happens. Okay, so you need to check. Basically, the Antardasha has to be seen from the Varga Chakra. So on your notebooks, you can write this as a golden rule. Big, right? This big golden rule, Antardasha, always check from the Varga charts. Very important. Okay, so let's start this. So let me pick up my pen and let me start sharing the screen with you. Okay, so we got the whiteboard here and we'll start telling you what all charts and what is the meaning. Okay, so primarily we are going to use 16 major divisional charts. Okay, so what are those that are very important? Although we've got so many divisional charts, and there are various padhatis, there are Iyer Padhati and all, which I'll explain you someday. But then there's a Krishnamurti Padhati, KP Padhatis there, Iyer Padhatis there, but then we'll use the primaric or primary 16 divisional charts. So as you know, the first chart is the D1 chart. Okay, so D1 is nothing but your Lagna chart, and Lagna chart is also known as the Rashi chart. Okay, this is also known as the Rashi chart. And why do we look at the D1? What is the purpose of looking at the D1? Is to get a broader view, the overall view. Okay, so it is an overall view. Lot of people say we look only about the physical body on this. No, that is wrong. It is not just the physical body, it is the overall view. It is the entrance. Okay, just like you enter in Omax where I live, you enter, so that entrance is the Rashi. Now you want to go to a specific home, right? I mean, you can come to my home, you can come to my guest house, so you need to go towards that. Okay, so it is overall view of how the life would be, how the physical personality would be, how the intelligence would be, how will be the overall relationship with brother and sister, how will be the comforts of life, how will be overall condition of the marriage, right? I mean, it may look bad in the D1, but in the D9 it may be very good, right? So that means after initial struggle things would be fine, है ना? So ये सब चीजें जो आपको पता लगती हैं D1 से, तो it's an overall view. Lot of people can even predict so many things from the D1. Okay, the other one is the D2. So the second one is known as the D2 chart. This I will be teaching you the D2 chart as well. Okay, so why do we use this? For the D2 is actually looking at the wealth. Okay, now a lot of people will say, and this is also known as the Hora chart. This is, and there are various types of Hora charts, not just one. When you look at your software, there are 2 to 3 types of Horas. There's a Hora which is coming from the Iyer, and well, I'll tell you what is the difference when I start with the Hora. So if you want to look at the wealth, now a lot of people will, a lot of people will say, this wealth is all about money and how much liquidity do you have. Well, wealth is not about money and how much liquidity that you have. Wealth is all about, your overall prosperity, that how much prosperous you will be. So it is all about overall prosperity. It is not just the wealth, okay? It is overall prosperity. And, Hora chart is always the combination of sun and moon. Remember this, okay? It is made through the combination of sun and moon. Now, sun and moon, what does you derive from this? What does you understand from this? You understand is that the significator of wealth is sun and moon. Okay, sun, if sun is strong, you're going to have wealth. And if moon is strong, you will have a right path. Okay, right path towards the wealth. Okay, because if sun is the money, the moon is the path towards the money. So if your moon is like in my kundli, moon is debilitated, or I would not say debilitated, but it is in the debilitated sign. Huh? So what happened? Was I born super rich, or did I, had my life in like a silver spoon? No, I, earned things over the period of time, right? But if someone has a great moon, they are born in a with a silver spoon. you know, Getting money and wealth and prosperity in the life is very, very easy in their life. But then if you have an eclipsed moon, or if you have a moon which is afflicted, under those circumstances, the path towards prosperity is not easy. It is not easy. It will take time, and it will take courage, and it will take a lot of effort. Only then you people will be able to earn money. So I'll teach you that how do you look at the Hora chart also. So then we have got another chart which is called D3. Okay, we got another chart called D3. D3, chart is very, very interesting chart. I will be teaching you in probably next lecture, right? And it is known as the Drikhana chart. It starts from D, Drikhana. So it is also known as Drishkhana at time, and is also known as the Drikhana chart. Drikhana or Drishkhana. So it can be written in two ways. Parashara Hora Shastra says Drishkhana. As it is a Drikhana, D3, and it is all about siblings. You really want to see that how your siblings are behaving. Will they have prosperity? Will they be dependent on you? Will they be suffering? Right? It is a very interesting chart. Whenever somebody tell Guruji, please tell me a little bit about my brother, my relationship with my brother, sister, or relationship with my siblings, I simply jump to D3. Simply jump to D3, and whatever dasha, or antra dasha is running, that input, and the D3, there is an art, there is a way, there is a technique to analyze D3. There are particular houses that we look at for elder brother and younger brother, elder sister and younger sister. So we look at these things. Even, there are techniques to understand about your twin, sibling. So we will teach you that as well. So this information will be very, very, very general information in the Rashi chart, but it will be a very detailed information in the D3 chart. So it is going to tell you all about the life of your siblings. Isn't that interesting? That just from your chart, we are able to access the life. And these charts are not difficult to read. I must tell you, there are only 3, 4, 5 steps. You understand those 5 steps, you're able to understand so many things. Okay, so that is seen from the D3. Okay, and then the another chart that we look at is the D4 chart. Now, just like we've got these charts are also divided into dharma, artha, kama, moksha, divisions. These charts are also, divided into, your panch tattvas, jala, artha, akasha. So there are certain charts like after D4, you will not find D5, D6 that we are considering. We are going to consider D7, right? So why D7? So there is a category that has been designed, defined. That lecture also I'm going to take. But my primary focus is on the 16 divisional charts. There are certain charts that we are not using. There are certain charts that are used for prashna only. There are certain charts that we use for muhurat only. ओके अगर आपको मुहूर्त निकालना है तो D1 के साथ 4-5 और चार्ट है, चार्ट्स, डिविजनल चार्ट्स, उन्हीं को देख के मुहूर्त निकालना है। अगर आपको प्रश्न कुंडली लगानी है तो प्रश्न कुंडली कभी भी D1 से एक्यूरेटली नहीं निकलेगी, याद रखना। प्रश्न कुंडली लोग प्रश्न लगाते हैं और D1 से देखने लग जाते हैं। नो, देयर आर बिसाइड द D1, बिसाइड द राशि चार्ट, देयर आर डिफरेंट, देयर डिफरेंट अदर चार्ट्स दैट आर सीन फॉर मुहूर्ता। उसकी मैं लिस्ट आपको दूंगा, राइट, कि मुहूर्त के लिए आपने ये चार्ट देखने हैं अलोंग विद द D1। अगर आपने कोई तिथि प्रवेश निकालना है, आपने कोई मुहूर्त निकालना है, राइट, मैरिज का है, हाउस वार्मिंग का है, उसमें भी D1 के साथ साथ आपने कौन से डिविजनल चार्ट्स देखने हैं। ओके, सिमिलरली अगर आपने किसी बड़े सेलिब्रिटी के लिए आपने कोई प्रिडिक्शन करनी है तो उसके लिए भी हमारे पास डिफरेंट सेट ऑफ चार्ट्स हैं जो प्रायोरिटी पे होते हैं। एंड इफ यू वांट टू टेक आउट द any information or any prediction for a normal human being, so उसके लिए भी there are list of charts की सबसे पहले आपने उनको देखना है। आपकी जो प्रिडिक्शन है वो एक्यूरेट जाएगी। आपकी जो आप जो किसी को गाइड करना चाहते हैं, ज्योतिष इज ऑल अबाउट द आई वुड लव the guidance word more than prediction, because at times predictions are hurting also. अगर लाइफ में 4 साल बाद 3 साल बाद कुछ बुरा होना है और आप बोल देते हो तो आज ही मरना हो जाता है इंसान का। that person died today itself, right? So at times you have to guide that, okay, there can be a difficult time, but if you do this, based on these inputs from various divisional charts, nothing will happen, time will pass by. तो इस तरह के एस्ट्रोलॉजर्स आप लोगों ने बनना है, ठीक है ना। सो नॉट ओनली ऑलवेज, सपोज अगर आप बोल दो कि आपका जी चंद्रमा खराब है या आपका शनि खराब है और ये एक्यूरेट रिजल्ट्स नहीं दे रहा है, प्रॉब्लम है। सी, आपने अपनी तरफ से तो कुछ गलत नहीं बताया, लेकिन आपने सामने वाले को कितना डिसर्टन कर दिया, ठीक है। बट आपको ये भी पता था कि उसके उपाय हैं, और 99% एस्ट्रोलॉजर उसका उपाय, मान लो 4 साल बाद किसी को प्रॉब्लम आनी है, आप मेरी कंसल्टेशंस में देखो, 4 साल बाद की जो प्रॉब्लम है उसका उपाय मैं आज दे देता हूँ कि अगर आपको आनी है आप अभी से शुरू कर दो ना। दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट। जब बारिश आती है तो छत नहीं डाली जाती, छत पहले डाली जाती है और फिर बारिश का इंतजार किया जाता है ताकि आपका नुकसान ना हो। तो अगर आप वहां तक पहुंचना चाहते हैं कि चल बारिश आएगी, बादल इकट्ठे होंगे तो तब हम अपनी छत का इंतजाम करेंगे, तो दैट इज रॉन्ग, right? So you have to start working, and that only comes with the guidance. Okay, so next chart that we look at is the D4 chart. Okay, इसको हम चतुर्थांशा चार्ट बोलते हैं, चतुर्थ आंशा, क्या लिख रहा हूं, wait, the pen slips. Right? Amsha. It will take some time for me to practice. Chaturthamsha. Okay, chart is there. And why do we see for Chaturthamsha? The biggest thing that we look at Chaturthamsha is about property. Okay, we look at moksha also and other things also, but property, you want to buy a constructed property, you should buy a plot and then you do the construction. This is a very common question. Guruji, should I buy a bungalow or should I buy a flat? Should I buy a constructed property or should I take a plot and then construct it? So there is a way to understand D4 chart. There is a specific way. There are specific steps to understand the D4 chart, right? So we look at the D4 chart for the properties. The property कैसी लेनी है, कब बनेगी, timing of the property, right? All these things are seen from the D4, and I will teach you in detail the D4 chart, right? It is very, very good to know the D4 chart. And after the D4, we look at the D7 chart. Okay, so D7 is Saptamsha. Okay, this is Saptamsha chart. Okay, so this is Saptamsha, and Saptamsha we are looking for the children. बच्चों के लिए देखा जाता है ये chart. You know, will my child progress, or will he go abroad? You know, will he be a liability on me, or will I even have a child or not? Right? Will I have problems with the children? Because D7 is also your future. Because you look at your future in your children. That is the most important thing. Why do we make children? We make children so that they can, you know, give you some support when you are old. You know, you're trying to plan your future. Actually, people are not planning baby, they are planning their future. That's the most important thing. So we look at D7 chart, you know, when we look at for children. Okay, the next chart that we look at is the D9 chart. So D9 chart, you look for what? You look for marriage. Okay, marriage predictions, spouse, and your spiritual path. Remember this. This is also known as the spiritual path. अगर आपको अपना spiritual path देखना है ना, वो किसी चार्ट में नहीं मिलेगा, वो D9 में मिलेगा. आपका ज्योतिष का मैंने इतने लोगों को बोला, hey, you will do Jyotish in your life. And the maximum calculation, you know, many number of the time has come from the D9, not from the D1. Not from the D1. Right? So lot of, you know what, महादशा का तो आपको पता लग ही जाता है. आप, you know, a people, when you will become astrologers, you know, the real one, Jyotishis, right? You will be more scared of the Antradasha. Because Mahadasha is giving you the outlook. ये अगर तकलीफ है तो तकलीफ है. Highest amount of तकलीफ जो है वो अंतरदशा देखने को पता लगती है. अभी मैं आपको ये समझा नहीं पा रहा हूँ, लेकिन आपको मेरे 10-12 लेक्चर के बाद ये चीज एग्जैक्टली समझ में आ जाएगी कि मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा था. Right? So certain things will take time to, you know, for you to understand, and certain things you get immediately, but then you have to keep patience. The more and more patience you keep, better you learn. Better is the grasping power. Better is the digestion. Right? Go slow. Just master a concept, then another concept, then the another concept. And you will realize that your brain is so wonderful. It's such a powerful machine that it can store everything. The only thing which is required is the blessing of Ganpati. Om Gam Ganpati Nam. Every day in the morning. You know, do these malas. The retainership is only going to come from Ganesha. Ganesha, the retainership of memory, the digestion of Jyotish is only because of Ganesha. Nobody else can give you that. See, Shiva is Guru. He can give you knowledge. For retainership, he is going to send you towards Ganesha. Remember this. Always remember this. Okay, so marriage, spouse, and this is, as you know, this is called what? This is known as the Navamsha chart. Navamsha, the most common thing. Marriage, and also we look at Navamsha to understand the dignity of the planets. You know, the dignity of the planets is also seen from the Navamsha. Right? How a planet is actually going to behave. And then comes the D10 chart. Okay, this is called the Dashamsha chart. The Shamsha chart, why do we look at? We look at for profession. And what? And the power of the planet, your own power in the society. You know, it is also seen for, you know, power is also equal to status. How good and how bad is the status in the society, and profession, power, status, and your real purpose also. See, this is where you see from Bhrigu Bindu, but no, you have to see it from the D10 also. You remember the Apekshika Bala concept that I've, you know, taught you people. So you understand the real purpose. You may have many careers in your life, many careers, but then there'll be one career which will be the most prominent one. The most prominent one that we see from the D10 chart. Okay, so these are how many charts? 3, 3, 6, and 7. Let's move to the next category. So after the D10, we look at the D12 chart. So another very, very important. Now this is known as the Dvavadamsha chart. Dvavadamsha chart. So Dvavadamsha chart, we are using it for parents. Okay, so we look at the parents. कि आपके parents का life जो है वो कैसा है, right? But I must tell you this thing. There's a secret to this. Your past life regression also happens from the D12, right? आपको अगर आपका past life देखना है, अब past life में भी बहुत से questions हैं. आपको कौन सा पता कि आप जो अभी ये जीवन जी रहे हो, ये 20 बर्थ पुराना आप कंप्लीट कर रहे हो या 30 बर्थ पुराना आप कोई सेटल कर रहे हो. बट ये जो पास्ट लाइफ आपको पता लगती है D12 से, ये इमीडिएट पास्ट लाइफ है, द लास्ट बर्थ के अंदर क्या हुआ था. सो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. इट इज लाइक इमीडिएट पास्ट लाइफ में आपके कैसे कर्म रहे, क्या आपने भुगतान करना है इस जन्म में. सो दैट इज सीन फ्रॉम द D12. Okay, that is the reason you are born to your parents. Please understand this thing. Why you are born to your parents is because of some immediate karmas were pending, right? So karmas are of various types. So maybe in this life जो आप प्रारब्ध लेकर आए हो संचित में से, उसमें से कुछ थोड़ा सा सेटलमेंट जो है यहाँ से 30 जन्म पुराना है, कुछ सेटलमेंट इज 20 birth away, some settlement is 10 birth away, and D12 is going to tell you the immediate ones, the last birth things. Okay, so after the D12, the next chart we look at is the D16 chart. Okay, so what is this D16? Is the Shodashamsha. Okay, so this is known as the Shodashamsha chart. Amsha. So why do we use the D16 chart? This is very important. Guruji, what color car I should take? What day I should buy a car? Which kind of a car I have? So all your cars and vehicles, yeah, right? Your transportation facilities. You've got to take transportation. Guruji, what number of the car I should take? Which is the best number for me for the car? Right? Should I take this number, or what brand I should take? Because there are a lot of nakshatras associated with the brands of the cars. Trust me. When I'll teach you this, you'll be astonished that the Audi brand is with a nakshatra. The Mercedes is belonging to a nakshatra. So it's a very, very interesting concept that you will understand in the D16 chart. Okay, so all the vehicles that you want to buy, even this also shows your shadripus also, whatever shadripus you have. No, so what is a shadripu? All the bad habits that you have, you actually surrender in front of those bad habits. Like somebody who's really smoker, he just smokes a lot, or somebody who drinks a lot, somebody who's very, very obsessive about sexual activity, somebody who's very obsessive about food. At times people kill themselves by eating so much of food. I mean, they are so good people, they're so genuine people, but they cannot control their tongue. उनको अपनी जुबान पे कंट्रोल खा रहे खा रहे खा रहे खा रहे खा रहे. I know, they know that they are going to die with such kind of a food, but they are so incapable to restrict their mind. So that is where the problem is. So we can see all these things from the D16. The next chart we look at is the D20 chart. D20. So this is called Vimshamsha. Vimshamsha chart. What we look at Vimshamsha is the journey of mantra shastra, right? Which mantra is going to give you the great information. So mantras that will really help you, right? What should be your ultimate devata. So we look at your devata, even the kul devata, we can see from this particular, and the timings to meet your guru. We can see all these things from the D20 की सुबह सुबह उठ के पहला आप अपना जो आपको मैंने रूटीन दी है पूजा पाठ करने की, उसके बाद कौन से देवता का आप नाम जपो। सो लोग मेरे से पूछते हैं ना, नवनीत सर हमें बताओ कि मेन मंत्र क्या है मेरे जीवन का। सो फटाफट से मैं D20 पे जाता हूँ, फिर आपको बोलता हूँ ओके ओके, आप सारा दिन उठते बैठते खाते पीते सोते जागते आप ये मंत्र करो। सो दैट विल रियली 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 हेल्प यू। So that is, we look at from the D20. Then we got D24. Okay, D24 is also, this is called Chatur Vimamsha. This is Chatur, which is D24. So this is not as Chatur Vimamsha, Amsha chart. Okay, and this is actually seen for your knowledge, that you will get, the knowledge that you will get from, from your religion, from your spirituality, from the guru, कि आप इस जीवन में अपने गुरु से कितनी नॉलेज ले पाओगे, राइट? आपकी स्पिरिचुअल ग्रोथ कितनी होगी, राइट? हाउ मच विल यू ग्रो? So people ask me, Guruji, please tell me how much will be my spiritual growth and how will I reach? No, that's you have to see from the D24 chart. Okay, the next is the D27 chart. Okay, so D27 chart is also known as the Bhamsha chart. Bhamsha chart. Bhamsha chart. Now, D27, the only planet and the most important planet that you have to look in the Bhamsha chart is the moon. Okay, is the moon. Okay, this will represent your mental abilities. कि आपकी psychological, आपकी strength कितनी है. So moon becomes very very important to understand. Your moon may be debilitated in the lagna, but you must check the condition of moon in the D27. So this will show your manas, your mental, आपकी mental, आपका mind programmed कैसे है. So this is going to show you the programming of your mind. It is a good programming, it is a bad programming, it's a dirty program. आपका मन कितना खराब है. Are you a cruel minded person? What are your abilities? Are you a dumb person? Are you a foolish person? Right? Or you are really intelligent and a mindful soul? Right? That can be seen from D27. So that is another influence. The next thing is the D30 chart. Okay, this is known as the Trim Amsha chart. Okay, this is a very 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 important. All the health issues, the major health issues are coming, all bad incidents are happening in the life, right? Any struggles that you have, right? That these all things are seen. Basically this is to understand the problems that you will face physically. Now the mental problems are in D27, the physical problems are seen in the D30 chart, right? All those settlements of your prarabdh, settlement of your prarabdh karma is seen from the D30 chart. कि आपको कहते हैं ना कि आप अपना ये प्रारब्ध लेकर आए हो, ये कर्मा लेकर आए हो, आपको ये भुगतना है, ये फिजिकली भुगतना है तो D30 आप देखते हैं. अगर मेंटली आप उसको भुगत रहे हैं तो D27 में आप देखते हैं. क्योंकि जब भुगत रहे आप मेंटली तो आपकी मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ तो जीरो होगी. यू विल नॉट हैव वेरी मच मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ. अगर आपको कभी किसी ऑटिस्टिक बच्चे का चार्ट देखना हो ना तो उसकी लाइफ में D27 D30 से आप जरूर इनपुट लीजिएगा, आपको समझ में आएगा कि मैं क्या कहना चाह रहा हूँ. यू विल सी हाउ दीज चार्ट्स आर इफेक्टिंग, हाउ दीज चार्ट्स आर बेसिकली हिटिंग दैट पर्सन. बिकॉज ऑटिज्म का इतना इलाज नहीं होता. ऑटिज्म में ज्यादा से ज्यादा बच्चा अपने आप को इम्प्रूव कर सकता है, थोड़ा बहुत बच्चा सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हो सकता है. तो उसकी कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए कि क्या बच्चा सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हो सकता है कि नहीं, कि टोटली डिपेंडेंट रहेगा, वी लुक एट वेरियस कंडीशंस and one of the inputs come from D27 and D30. So that is coming from there. Okay, now we've got three more. The other one is the 40. Okay, so we got D40. D40 is also Chatvir Amsha. Chatvir Amsha. Okay, Chatvir Amsha chart. Okay, this is basically your Nanka Parivar. It is all about, you want to look at the parents of your mother, their your mama, mami, and masi, mosa. So it is actually the maternal relationships. कि आपके maternal relationships कैसे जाएंगे, आपका मम्मी का जो खानदान है पूरा, your mother side relatives, their complete खानदान, उसका अगर आपको लेना है तो then we look at take the input from the D40. And then we've got another one is the D45 chart. Okay, and this is known as the Aksha Vedamsha. Aksha Vedamsha chart. Similarly, you've got, maternal relationship, paternal, पापा दादा की तरफ से, पैटर्नल जो रिलेशनशिप्स हैं वो कैसे जाएंगे, चाचा चाची, एंड पैटर्नल के अंदर आप ये भी देख सकते हो हाउ विल बी योर टीचर्स, इवन द टीचर्स, योर गुरुज, योर मेंटोर्स, these are also seen from the D45. So ये वहां से देखे जाते हैं, right? Just the way I was giving you the example. And the last and the most changing, it changes quickly, in the birth time rectification, it is extremely difficult, impossible to get accurate D60 because this changes every 20 seconds, every minute, every 30 seconds, tuck, 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 it's changing. So during the birth time rectification, the only chart which is extremely difficult to get right is the D60 chart. Remember this. It is very, very difficult when we do BTR. So this is known as the Shashti Amsha chart. Okay, Shashti Amsha. So what is this Shashti Amsha chart all about? Shashti Amsha chart is basically your spirituality, right? Your deep connection with your soul. Okay, deep connection of your soul. कि आपकी सोल की वाइब्रेशन कहां पर है, क्या आपकी सोल चाहती है, किस स्पिरिचुअल पाथ पे जाना चाहती है. Okay, now you know the major Varga Chakra, the 16 divisional charts and their applications. Now once you know this thing, you people will be able to understand the meaning of each chart that we have. Okay, now what is the what we are supposed to do? What we are supposed to do is to check, the antra dashas from these charts based on your question. Looking at, suppose somebody calls you and somebody says, Guruji, I have really hard time buying a property. So you have to take two steps for this. The first step that you take, is that you basically going to check D4 chart. Okay, now from the D4 chart, you have to take the second input that you have to take is the input of your Antradasha. Okay, Antradasha की input लेनी है, right? वो देखो कि आपकी property बनने में Antradasha support कर रही है, and then definitely there are ways to understand D4, like Ketu is very, very important in D4, Mars is very, very important in D4, your fourth lord, in the D4 is very, very important. The fourth lord of the D1, you have to take the input and then put it there in the D4 and see, right? The fourth lord of the D4 is very, very important. So ये सारी conditions जो हैं हम check करते हैं, जो मैं आपको step wise बताऊंगा कि okay, this is, आप ये देखो तो ये होगा, ये देखो तो ये होगा, ऐसे देखोगे तो ऐसे होगा, right? अभी आपका क्या काम है? I want you to work on two charts today, right? Look at your D1, okay, and write down the Mahadasha and the Antradasha, and look the position of the Antradasha Lord in the D9 and the D10. Okay, from the D9, you see how's your personal life going, how's your spiritual life going in that Antra, in that particular Antradasha. right? And in the D10 you can analyze how is your profession going on, right? So आप D10 को इंडिविजुअल चार्ट मान के चलो, अपने आप में एक इंडिविजुअल फुल फ्लैज चार्ट, जो रूल्स D1 में लग रहे हैं वो सारे रूल D9 D10 में भी लगेंगे, राइट? उनको इंडिविजुअल चार्ट मानो और वहां से इनपुट लो, राइट? और कंडीशन वही है कि महादशा लॉर्ड से जो भावा सूचक आमशा की टेक्निक मैंने आपको सिखाई है वो आपको याद रखनी है। उसमें सबसे पहले तो हम ये भी देखते हैं ना कि मान लीजिए कि मेरा सूर्य अगर मेरे महादशा लॉर्ड से द्वादश में बैठा है, द्वादश राशि में बैठा है D9 के अंदर, लेकिन D9 के अंदर वो द्वादश राशि में बैठने के बावजूद भी क्या वो फेवरेबल घर में है, क्या वो लगन में है, या वो केंद्र में है, या त्रिकोण में है, कि 6-8-12 में बैठ गया? अगर 6-8-12 में बैठ गया तो और वर्स्ट हो गया ना। एक तो मेरे पास लॉस था लेकिन वो केंद्र की जगह दुष्टाना में बैठ गया, तो आपकी वो दशा जो है फिर और प्रॉब्लमेटिक सिचुएशन में आपको डालेगी, राइट? आपको उसके अकॉर्डिंगली उपाय करने हैं। अब सोचो, मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूं कि अगर मेरा महादशा लॉर्ड 4th हाउस में, ठीक है, राशि को छोड़ दो 2 मिनट के लिए, ग्राउंड रूल लेके चलो कि नवमांश में वो 12th हाउस में गया, ओके, सिंपल, 12th हाउस में चला गया। अब 12th हाउस अपने आप में लॉसेस दिखाता है, तो मुझे क्या करना है? सबसे पहले उसकी सबसे पहली रेमेडी है कि जो मंत्र 12th हाउस में जाता हो, राइट, द्वावदा जो है आपका द्वादक्षरी मंत्र, तो आप वो करने के लिए बोल दो, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। आप बोलो कि आप उठते बैठते करते रहो, राइट? और अगर लगन में जा रहा हो तो उसको बोलो आप ओम का जाप करो, राम 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 राम, उठते बैठते राम 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 करते चलो, शिव 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 शिव, कृष्णा 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 करते चलो, बेड़ा पार है, राइट? यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? अब 12th हाउस हमेशा लॉसेस नहीं होता, 12th हाउस आपकी शादी भी होती है। मेरे गुरुजी हमेशा कहते थे कि आपको हमेशा शादी 7 से नहीं देखनी, आपको द्वादश भाव से देखनी। You have to look marriage from the 12th house as well. You have to look associations from the 12th house as well. You have to look all these things from the 12th house. तो थोड़ा सा होमवर्क करना है, ठीक है? अगले लेक्चर में बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग D1 और D9, D1 और D10 के नक्षत्र का एक्सचेंज सीखेंगे हम, कि अगर एक ग्रह D1 में, चंद्रमा मेरा D1 में अनुराधा में है और D9 में कौन से नक्षत्र में है और D10 में कौन से नक्षत्र में है, तो वो उसके अकॉर्डिंगली रिजल्ट देगा कि आपकी बाहर की आउटलुक ये है और अंदर की वो है। जब मैंने अपना चंद्रमा देखा शतभिषा में, अनुराधा में, तो मेरे को डिवोशन डिवोशन नजर आ रही थी कि हर जगह डिवोशन है जी, डिवोशन है। और जब मैंने शतभिषा में देखा तो जाके मुझे पता लगा कि अंदर से तो मेरा मन फिजिशियन है, मैं दूसरों की मदद कर रहा हूँ। तो उसका टेबल बनवाऊंगा आपसे, तो टेबल बनवाएंगे ना जब आपसे, तो आपको सारी कहानी समझ आ जाएगी कि आपकी बाहर की जिंदगी क्या है और आपके अंदर की जिंदगी क्या है, राइट? बड़ा जबरदस्त डिटेल्ड एक डायसेक्शन हो जाएगा, होगा कि नहीं होगा? और उसको अगर आप 4, 5, 10, 15 कुंडलियों पे अगर आप अप्लाई कर देते हो, यू विल बी अ मास्टर, यू विल बी अ मास्टर, ठीक है? तो वो टेक्निक भी आपको जो है करवाएंगे, ठीक है? सो ये आज का लेक्चर था, right? This was the lecture for today. I want you to practice a lot. You need to practice this, and then lot of questions will come. और हम अपने डिस्कशन ग्रुप जो है उसमें हम उसके जवाब देंगे, and I want everyone to participate, because वैसे हमारा डिस्कशन ज्योतिष भूषण का तो बहुत happening है. Lot of people give inputs, and you write down your homework, and you get Shashank ji is doing a great job while taking, and then this will be transferred to Sneha very soon, right? So I said 2 or 3 weeks, it is Shashank ji, then Sneha. Then you need to write down what you've learned today in the class, and so that it becomes like a bullet point kind of a thing, and quickly you can learn it. You can save that Word document in your computers, and you can say that this was lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, so that quickly you can access. Okay, or you can give the name also. Okay, the name of that particular technique. We have learned Rashi Tula Navamsha, yes, Bhavak Suchak, Bhava Suchak Amsha. Then we also learned Apekshika Bala. So these are very advanced techniques that we have learned over the period of time, so that you can actually help someone. And now today I've given you that golden rule, the golden rule to understand the Antradasha. Antradasha always looks from the Varga charts, right? It will give you great inputs. I'm not saying you have to look only from the Varga charts, no, but you should. Okay, you should. You will get lot of important and accurate information. Okay, right?